Hi, my name is Iñaki Muñoz. I am in the class of General Sociology, and I am from Ecuador.
Hi, my name is Ari Jalomo. I'm from California, but I go to school in Ohio, and I'm taking cross-cultural psychology.
Perfect. So we're going to talk about the Durkheim theory of social integration and related with immigration. The theory talks about social cohesion or solidarity. That is fundamental concept in sociology that focuses on the bonds that hold societies together. Durkheim argued that the social integration is essential for maintaining social order, stability, and collective well-being. We're going to talk about our personal family stories and how they immigrated from certain countries to now our places that we're located. So I will start saying that my family originated in Spain and in the Civil War of Spain. So they have to immigrate from Spain to Chile, and they had problems adapting in the society of Chile. So my family split in half, and half stayed in Chile, and the other half had to go to Ecuador when it came to Ecuador, where now my family is getting a little bigger, but they had to adapt to this new place and had to integrate into the culture, find new families, like make stronger bonds with the society of Ecuador.
Hey, and my family immigrated from Mexico into the United States, and like Iñaki was saying about kind of like not having some of the family members that you're leaving behind in your heritage country. My family experienced the same things. My grandparents had to start basically from scratch, and my mom was actually the first person who was born in the United States, but her two older sisters were born in Mexico. So it was definitely much harder for them to adapt to the differences in the United States. Um, but also they grew up in a very poor family as well. So the financial instability was also something that was really hard for my mom's family growing up and trying to transition from how life was in Mexico versus how it was in the United States.
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting how families have to immigrate because of certain topics, like in my case was a civil war. So they have to escape all this war and come to America to seek new opportunities. And I think that immigration is all about like people seeking for new opportunities and for a better life.
And I think also something that's included that is also taking that risk too, because you don't really know if it will work out. And even for like my mom's family, like that was a really like hard time to be like growing up in poverty. But now that like she's having me, like I definitely feel like I had an easier childhood than she definitely had. So the risk is definitely a huge part in that too.
Yeah, and also like adapting to a new culture, adapting new traditions, and like sometimes families tend to leave their traditions behind so they can incorporate that new society they're in. So like my family tried a lot with we like the new generation of my family tried to maintain like the vocabulary and the language of our native uh, place of birth that was in El País Vasco, that they talk Euskera. So at the beginning in Christmas, we tend to sing Christmas songs in this different language, but now it also has ended because we also have to adapt, and it has been lost like that a little bit. So that is like something like we lose something, but we integrate it more in society.
And then still also able to keep like some of like the really like big traditions. Like um like we have like really big birthday parties, and celebrations like quinceañeras, are also like really cool to see them transition to like despite immigrating from one place to another, like these traditions are still there, and they're able to bring family together.
Yeah, and I think that these big celebrations also like maintain social order within the family because they united more families and uh, in a certain way makes family to come together and celebrate and maintain a bond, a stability, so they can support each other for any time. Like fortunately, when they came, when my family came to Ecuador, it like religion was also a part of this country. In Ecuador, there always was a Christianity and Catholicism, so they are that really good in those terms, but they also have to adapt to their new life. Coming from Spain to Ecuador was like a rough changes.
Yeah, and I think also too, like there was really big differences between how my mom was raised versus how like she raised me. So I think like even seeing how like that's an effect of how you're adopting to the new culture. You can kind of see that through like generational changes, um, and how, at least like from my experience, it seems like we have like a less traditional Mexican family than how like my mom was raised. But also like something stick, like the strictness of our parents. They will always be strict on us, and that's probably something that I'll keep when I'm raising my own kids. Um, but in terms of like specific like household rules, like some of those things are not as strict as like it was for my mom growing up.
Yeah, and I can understand that because in my family also, like coming from a big family from Spain, they had to separate a lot, but they maintain like their beliefs and their way of teaching kids how to grow and maintain their manners. So I think that is really important also. And the part of my family separating is that we lost many like reunions, and we have family still in Chile that I like me myself haven't seen, and I don't know those people. Or we have family also in like I live in Quito, but we have family in Guayaquil also that I did not know until I was like 15. So I think that is also really hard like to come again for a big family.
Hmm.
A big family. And so that is important also like this also I think it inspires solidarity within people, the society we come in, because they understand like the situation in this case, um, the civil war in Spain. So in Chile they were not so uh, solidary with my family, but in Ecuador they were. So I don't know. I think this also helped them to stay here, not to go to another.
Hmm.
And that is really related with social integration theory, because with that, my family could include themselves into the society and become part of it and not be outsiders. So yes.
Yeah, and I think also like within like certain families, it's interesting to see how they develop their own traditions, and beliefs, because I know that when my mom was being raised in the United States by her immigrant parents, one hardcore belief was that family dinners would always be together, and that her mom would always have a home cooked meal ready for them every single day. So to have like that belief that that will always be what's going to happen every single day, not only brought their individual family together, but um, it allowed like it was their family meal spent together was intentional. And I definitely think that that helped bind them all together.
Yeah, I think the same. And yes, interesting how the beliefs, values, norms, and symbols that bind individuals together. Like we have to learn all these things in the new culture we were born into. Like we have part of the both worlds. Me from a little bit of my family in Spain and like my new family here in Ecuador, and how they have different, slightly different cultural beliefs. So yes, that's all. I think we have summarized like a lot of good key points and related very well with the Durkheim theory. So thank you, Ari, for your time, and I hope we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you.